This is Chicago's Morning Answer with Dan Proft and Amy Jacobson on AM 560. The Answer.
Top of the morning, Dan and Amy. It's National School Choice Week, Amy.
That's why you should be wearing your hat.
Why? What does that have to do with
Bring
school
your
choice?
hat. You're going to show people that are watching on the web. You came in today with a fancy schmancy hat. You got rid of the Bennett jersey.
It's a felt fedora that I've had for 25 years. My friend, thank you for asking. My friend I went to high school with, Graham Thompson, he runs Optimo Hats. They've got a shop at 102nd and Western, and then he's also got a shop at the Monadnock building.
Monadnock?
Next to Union League Club.
Right, okay. I was very highbrow.
You thought I was referring to the Alabama quarterback. It's tough to keep Anyway, he makes fine hats. He makes hats for movies and stuff like that too.
Really?
Yeah, he's a really good hat maker.
Can I
a
borrow
lost
it?
art.
Can I borrow your hat?
No.
Oh, so rude. Can I see your hat?
Yeah, we'll get to my hat. It's National School Choice Week.
Oh, that's right.
Yeah, I'm trying. Stick on the topic here. We're trying to get.
We're in the throes of selective enrollment right now, so.
For Peyton and Eli.
Well, Peyton, Eli.
Oh, right. Yeah, he's got a year.
Yeah, it's a little dicey. He likes Jones Prep, Whitney Young, and Lane Tech.
All right. Somebody's going to.
They all have ups and downs.
And people don't think that school choice occurs in the selective enrollment. You're going to have to maybe find somebody to write a big check to one of those schools' foundations.
That's so sick.
Or talk to one of the feudal lords in your
and
circle.
we live in Tier 4. His dad lives in Tier 3, but people that live in Tier 4 that are in Section 8 housing, they're screwed. I mean, they have no chance. They are going to our local high school.
Thus, the importance of K through 12 scholarships, and thanks to a consortium of folks, we talked about this at length last year when it happened, an interesting and broad coalition of supporters. You actually got tax credit scholarships passed in Illinois. Mm-hmm. You're talking about $100 million a year for the next 5 years, $500 million if the money is raised, that can go to provide scholarships for children who aren't wealthy or aren't politically connected, but have the chops to have access to better schools so they get a better education, so they chart a course for a better life, and that's a good thing. And one of the individuals who's been at the tip of the spear on this is Myles Mendoza. He is with Empower Illinois, and it's one thing to pass legislation. Yay, we passed legislation. Then comes the implementation phase, and that's not sexy.
Now comes the work.
Yeah, and that doesn't generate headlines, but one of the component parts of getting this scholarship program up and running so people can donate and scholarships can be granted is to build these scholarship granting organizations that can accept the money, that are essentially recognized as providers of scholarship funds, so parents know where to apply to get scholarship funds. And this is what Myles Mendoza, the infrastructure that he has been building. Myles Mendoza, Empower Illinois, thanks for joining us. We appreciate it.
Good morning, Dan. Good morning, Amy.
Morning. So just give us a kind of the state of play. I know there's a lot of technical details to putting all this together, but the Empower Illinois scholarship granting ombudsman of sorts, and this is where people should look if they want to donate, and where people should look if they want to apply for scholarships for their children?
Correct. Dan, I would back up just a minute to the beginning part of the segment. You talked about the broad consortium of individuals that led to the passage of this law. Your listeners should all know that you were a big part of that consortium, and everybody should be grateful to you for having this law in place.
Hold on a second.
Sorry.
I want to hear Amy. I want to give Amy an opportunity to express her gratitude to me.
I really appreciate the fine work you do, and I thank you from the bottom of my
Thank you
heart.
very much, Amy. All right, we can continue
Just
now.
like Oprah.
Yes.
The Golden Globes.
All right, Myles. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
So, you know what? You're right. The implementation phase is now. That is the tough part. And when the law passed, all the schools that were out there, whether they be in the, tippy south of southern Illinois or Rockford, Chicago, you name it, find themselves struggling with the complications of all the compliance, cybersecurity, all the kind of things that go into this. And we all banded together and created Empower Illinois. So Empower Illinois represents 85% of the schools statewide. And what it does essentially is it serves like a PayPal of scholarship granting. It allows all of those schools to go ahead and raise money under compliance with the law. And then it also allows children to apply for those scholarships either at their locations or for them to apply to other places.
Well, how many scholarships are available per school? And will there be scholarships available, say, at Walter Payton Prep or at Northside Prep or at Lane Tech?
Yeah, so hearing about your struggle to get into selective enrollment schools, the great news is for all those Section 8 kids you referred to, they now have a chance to extend that list. So no, the scholarship doesn't apply to magnet schools, but it does apply to any qualified private school. So if you're recognized by the state of Illinois, you're a private school, you're participating in the program, that is now an option for all those kids.
By the way, comparing it to PayPal as opposed to an ombudsman is much easier and better comparison. That's why Myles is in charge of Empower Illinois, not me. For $100 million is the annual cap. So where are we in the money raise, and how can people who, particularly in light of the tax reform in a high-tax blue state like Illinois, what that's doing, people who want to maybe find some tax relief through philanthropic giving, like to this tax credit scholarship program, where is it at, and how can people get involved if they want to participate to help finance these scholarships?
Right. There's two parts to this program. One is donating. The other part is scholarships. So for the donating, the best way to do this is to go to empowerillinois.org. We have all the instructions and details. It's a little complicated. You first have to register with the Department of Revenue to become qualified to give, and then roughly 10 days later, you get a code in the mail, and you enter that code back at Department of Revenue. You reserve a credit, and then you donate to empowerillinois.org. The state has $100 million in credits. They're divvied up in 5 regions right now, and it's amazing. Within days, we've raised $40 million or pledged $40 million in credits to the state out of that 100.
Wow, that's
great.
great.
Illinois is lucky enough to have $30 million of that.
That's great. Wow. So we're
doing well. We're
picking
cooking.
them up and putting it down. Yeah.
Moving fast.
And so I'm sorry. Go ahead. The scholarships piece of this.
Yeah. Go ahead, Dan.
No. I mean, finish your thought now. So the donating and the scholarship granting. So talk about the scholarship granting.
Yeah, I want to first just one more word on the credits because it's divvied up in 5 regions. You know, it might look like there's $60 million left, but Cook County only gets $50 million, and Cook County is moving the fastest. So those credits are going to be gone very, very fast, even if the other regions of the state might take a little longer to get there.
Okay. And is the process laborious? I mean, I remember applying for Pell Grants and everything. Is it difficult?
So we're working to make it as easy as possible. So each scholarship granting organization has a different start time. For example, HighSight, it's highsight.org. Their application is available now for students. Ours goes available on the 24th of January, and parents just need to bring with proof of income and then some kind of verification of their identity and address residency.
Remind us of the qualifications, the income level qualifications, and kind of just generally speaking, what the scholarship provides for those who qualify, so people understand, how much of a prospective tuition would be covered.
Yeah, so it depends upon your household situation, but the roughest explanation is a family of 4 can earn up to about $73,000. The scholarships range depending upon your income or your special needs, but at baseline, for those at the lowest level of poverty, it can be up to $13,000 in the scholarship. If you're low income and you're gifted, that can be 1.1 times that amount. We also go up to $26,000 for students who have special education needs and have an IEP.
So you're talking, I just want to emphasize this point because I think sometimes people have scholarships, it's going to be, portion. I'm still going to have to come up with cash that I don't know where I'm going to get. The scholarship levels you're talking about here, I mean, you can send your kids to St. Ignatius. I mean,
this is a game changer.
Yeah.
Yeah. We wanted to create a market, Dan. If it didn't do that, it wasn't worth it.
Well, and I don't know if I make too much money to apply.
Well, the fact that CPS sent you a link card application.
Well, that's because my kids have a
you
Hispanic last name.
Yeah, no, I know. I'm kidding.
Yeah.
So, Myles, just in terms of kind of navigating this, if people go to the Empower Illinois website, is this kind of all laid out so people can kind of, on the donor side, on the scholarship side, they can kind of figure out how to get to where they want to go?
Yeah, there's really 3 sections, so we shouldn't forget about the third. If you're a school or a school leader and you want to participate under the EmpowerIllinois.org umbrella, you've got to register your school to participate.
Right.
Donors have a section. They can figure out how to make that donation. And then there's a section for students and parents to figure out how to apply.
And what about donor latitude with respect to the program generally or schools specifically? How does that work?
Yeah, so there's 2 groups of donors. There are individual donors, and they can designate to the school of their choice within their region, or if they want to donate to different regions, they can do that too, a little more complicated process. And then corporations make an undesignated donation. What that means is they donate to a pot of money for any student to go to any school anywhere. So we're kind of covering both grounds. We want to make sure that we get the alma maters and all the donors with allegiance to schools, but then we also cover the kids in the schools that don't have a historical donor base.
And where does this go? The comparison that I've made on this show previously is to what Florida has done with a similar program over the course of the last 15 years or so. And, in terms of the outcome here, how many kids can be helped with these scholarships within the strictures of the legislation that was signed into law last year? And frankly, and we've talked about on this show, the positive results from Florida for those kids who have gotten such scholarships.
Yeah, so, I like to look at it in terms of kids. So there are a lot of kids out there with unique needs. They might be bullied at a school and don't have a way out. Now they have a new option. They may have special education needs and have resorted to having an attorney to try to figure out how to get their educational option that they need. Now they also have an option. So our goal is to make sure that we hit all those kids. We have 15,000 scholarships that are available in Illinois today. Just to look at Florida, Florida started off with a $50 million program. That's half of where we are. And they got themselves up to where they are today, which is a $650 million program. But really, it all depends upon schools locally taking ownership, becoming empowered to make this their law, for parents to make this their scholarship, and everybody working to make sure that they fight for it.
Yeah, well, we're talking about tens of thousands of children and families that are going to be assisted in the process. Good stuff. Myles Mendoza, the boss over there at Empower Illinois. And the website again, Myles?
EmpowerIllinois.org. And Dan, thank you one more time for all the help you made in terms of getting this law to be a reality.
My pleasure. Myles Mendoza, Empower Illinois. Thanks so much for joining us. Appreciate it.
Okay, thank you.
I'm on the website right now.
Application will be done by the end of the show.
Yeah, we'll see how it goes. And Myles joined us on our turnkey.pro answer line.
Connect with Dan and Amy using the AM560 mobile app. Download it today at 560theanswer.com/mobile.